Okay, in this video, I want to look a little closer at imprints and the International Standard Book Number. When we looked at the books in the earlier video, I pointed out the fact that you have an imprint or a publisher name on the title page of your book, and then on the back side of that page, you normally list with the copyright, the publisher's name. If you're self-publishing, then you don't have a traditional publisher. Some people put the name of the printing company. Well, that's not really a representation of you. So you may want to create an imprint name, or if you have a company name, then you can use that. Many of the authors that are selling Christian suspense and romantic suspense novels are essentially self-published. I mean, even big names like Susan May Warren and Susan Sleeman, Lisa Phillips, and many, many others are actually calling themselves independent authors or indie authors. So essentially they're self-published. They're not using one of the traditional big publishing houses to release their work. Susan Sleeman has a imprint, which is her company name, which is Edge of Your Seat Books. Lisa Phillips is using Two Dogs Publishing as her imprint. And for the most part, these authors that are using these imprints, that imprint represents them alone. It's not a publishing group involving publishing other people's books. In some cases, they are. Christy Barrett is using River Heights Publishing, and I believe that's exclusively her books. There's no other author published under that name. So consider whether or not you want to use a imprint. I think it's important for giving your book an official look, to take away that problem of seeing a book as self-published and maybe not as good as one deserving to be published by one of the big publishing houses. So that may be something you want to consider. You can see on mine, my imprint is Rough Edge Publications, and I've used that on every nonfiction book that I have published over the last 30 years. And that name comes from the road that I grew up on, Rough Edge Road. So you can use something like Susan Sleeman that indicates the nature of your books, like Edge of Your Seat Books, or you can use something that just you identify with personally. But I think it gives a more official look to your book than just leaving that area on your title page blank. Now you can, if you choose a name, I would use something that you feel comfortable using throughout your writing career. You may not necessarily self-publish all your work, but you want to be consistent. So if you use XYZ Publishing, for example, somebody can look up XYZ Publishing and hopefully find all of your books that you self-published. Now, the next topic is the International Standard Book Number, and that causes a lot of frustration for authors in trying to understand that concept. But it's very important if you're going to utilize Amazon.com or a bookstore to sell your work, because they want a barcode on your books like this that they can scan to make the sale. An International Standard Book Number is a 13-digit number that you have to purchase, and it's really the serial number for your book. If you do a paperback suspense novel, then it would be assigned a ISBN. Now, if you do a Kindle version or an audio version of that same book, even though you hadn't changed a word in it, those are going to have separate ISBN numbers, because you want to be able to distinguish between those different products. So in the United States, you purchase your ISBN numbers from a company called Bowker, Bowker, and you can Google Bowker to find that site, or you can use myidentifiers.com. Myidentifiers.com is a link to their website. And they're not cheap. I'll tell you that. They're not cheap. For example, a single ISBN and a barcode that has that ISBN embedded in it is about $150. So they're not cheap. Now, you can buy them in bulk. The last time I bought numbers, I bought 10 numbers, and I think it was between $300 and $400 for those numbers. You buy the numbers before you ever publish the book, so that you can put the number on your copyright page and in your barcode. So you buy those numbers, and they're online, and you go back and you fill in the name of your book and the number of pages and any other information that you want to provide, and that information is added to the Bowker website to designate that particular ISBN has been used. So if you buy 10, you've published your first book, you fill in that information on the Bowker website, you're still going to show that you have 9 numbers available for your future works. Now, there are publishing options where you can contract with a company. You know, if you want to publish through Amazon or print on demand, those kinds of things, where some of those companies will provide you with an ISBN as part of your contract to publish your book. But you got to be careful when you're dealing with those types of situations, because in many of those cases, that ISBN will be registered to that firm that's creating and publishing your book. So, you know, if that may or may not cause you a problem further down the road. But, you know, you can opt not to use an ISBN if you're going to be selling hand to hand among your community, your friends in church and whatever, then you may not need an ISBN. But if you want people to be able to find it on Amazon and to be able to order it from other vendors, you're going to need that ISBN. And again, that's another factor that plays into whether your book looks self-published or this looks like a traditionally published book that's been well prepared. So you need to make a decision on whether or not you need to get that number. I strongly suggest that you do if you have the thought of having a long-term writing career. Now, once you get the ISBN, you're also going to need the barcode that your cover designer is going to incorporate into the cover. And basically what that barcode is a representation of the ISBN and the price. So you have to decide before you ever print the book what you're going to sell it for. I always opt to put a price on the barcode that's probably above what I'm actually going to sell it for, or what the stores may sell it for. You know, if I think a bookstore is probably going to look at this book and they're going to list it at $19.95, if I put $25 on there, that's fine, because they can go into their system and log in what price that this book will sell for when they scan that barcode. But I printed books, say 10 years ago, that I still have some in inventory, and the barcode is set for $14.95. Well, if I get those books reprinted, I've got to sell them for about $20 to make a very small profit. So I don't want somebody to look at the barcode after I quote them a price of this book is $20, and they look at the barcode and it says $14.95. So price your books on the barcode where you think that you'll still be selling them 5 years from now. Because if you buy a bunch of books, or you have a bunch of books printed, you could very well be still selling that inventory 5 years from now. If you do print on demand or something like that, you don't want to have to redesign your cover every time the price changes. So the barcodes are a little cheaper. You can buy just a barcode. So you've got your list of ISBN and you're down to the third number. You can go in and buy a barcode with that third ISBN and your price, and they're $25 from Bowker. They email you the actual barcode as a digital file, and if you have someone designing your cover, you need to provide them with that barcode so they can incorporate that into the cover. I suggest you using a designer that's familiar with doing book covers, so they know where to put this. You don't put it on the front, you don't put it at the top. It's always at the bottom right corner on the back. That way it makes it easier for the retailers when they're scanning books. So if you're using a person that is designing a cover, or you do one yourself, then make sure that you're located in the proper place. If you go to the Bowker website, there's all kinds of information to explain ISBNs and barcodes. There's also some real nice videos on YouTube that goes into greater detail on how to go through the process of purchasing the numbers and purchasing the barcodes. So if you have any questions, you can email me at campruston@gmail.com, or you can go to YouTube and look at many of those resources that will help you. So I hope you've learned a lot in our sessions. I appreciate you joining us to learn how to not make your book look self-published. And again, you can contact me by email in the coming weeks if you have future questions about self-publishing. I've done probably 20 books total, self-publishing, both for myself and for the library where I work. So I'm very familiar with the process, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you have. And that email address is campruston@gmail.com. I also have a Facebook page for the consulting that I do with authors on law enforcement procedures and police work and court procedures and those kinds of things. The name of that website is Write Crime Right. WRITE, crime, right, RIGHT. Feel free to check that out, and thanks.